Hello, and welcome to another episode of Rugby Through the Leagues podcast. This one is the second to last in the series, so we've saved the best till last until the next big announcement that's going to come out after this one. But we are here with two of the masterminds behind the Aegean Rugby Festival. Sadly, we couldn't make there this year due to multiple factors in my personal life, unfortunately. However, these guys managed to put on another great event. Not as big as we hoped or planned due to Trump and all those crazy things that go on around the world. However, we are here to discuss even bigger plans for next year. So we are joined by Dave and George. Gents, for those that aren't fully aware of who you are, do you want to do a little introduction each? Obviously, probably best start with George. You are effectively the main man that actually spoke with me to get the conversation underway and how we ended up here, really, mate.
I am George. I've been playing rugby for many years. I stopped playing about 10 years ago. And since then, we developed a business around sports tourism, of which in 2021, I think, we built the first Aegean Rugby Festival, hosted. And then my partner and I, Mike, who can't make it today, was in retrospect building part of rugby community also. But in retrospect, we were building on a vision of bringing rugby as an international level event with all its plus and minuses, whatever, at the time, and then start building year after year so that something can develop into Greece. And why not use Greece as the main platform, weather, the beach, et cetera, and introduce that as another event around Europe. So yeah, we built this event about 5 years ago. Last 2 years prior to this year, we brought in David into the equation. David is a fantastic Scotsman, to keep it at that. And so we have built a really cool team between us. It's actually a big team, but the main guys that are on the operations are David, Mike, and myself. 2 years ago, we introduced beach volleyball to the event. So that's why it became Aegean Sports Festival instead of just Rugby Festival. It's still, in essence, 3 different parts. As an intro, I think that's all right, and then we could keep going. David.
As George has said, I joined about 2 years ago. We both play at the same club. I came on to help out with the logistics, with the rugby bits, and trying to bring in, try and make it a bit more international. Last year, we had a huge tournament, which went fantastically well. The idea was essentially to create rugby here in Greece, so we can improve the level of rugby here and sport, as well as showcase how amazing Greece is. Everyone knows Greece is a popular tourist destination. Now let's make it a sport destination too and combine together.
100%. And obviously I stumbled across the development of Greek rugby. I know there's obviously been many factors of Greek rugby being what Greek rugby's developed over the years, and now the re-entry into Rugby Europe. Obviously, we had Eleni on who discussed that level of it. From a federation point of view, you guys are on the ground as well. Obviously, Eleni is, but you guys on the ground, the development of Greek rugby, because you both are at Attica Rugby, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, great club. Obviously, had a really good run in the tournament this season as well. But Dave, you're also part of the development of the youth setup as well. How is Greek rugby thriving underneath the reinvention of Rugby Europe and that sort of involvement again?
I would say, at least from my standing point as a foreigner, because as you could tell by my delightful voice, I am not Greek at all. It's in its early stages. It's slowly developing. It's got to take its small hurdles as a small federation, emerging nation, and working from that. It has been lucky that it has developed from clubs that were there under the previous regime. And that's how Attica is kept going, because it had that foreign base. It had all the expats still there and their kids playing rugby. And that's essentially how it's been going. Is the academy went really well this year. We went to Monaco for the 5th year, I believe, running. And it was the first time we won games. We didn't come last in the tournament, which shows that there is development in these kids. And Greece, sporting-wise, as I've seen, there's potential here. It just needs to be a bit more nurtured, and it needs to take time. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's slowly getting there. It's getting better and better, little by little, and that's all you can ask for.
George, obviously, events like this it's not just, it's a proven model around the rugby setup as well. So a lot of rugby nations have had events like this. How crucial is this to help the current term of rugby in Greece and the long-term development of it as well? What was that your main focus of trying to help bring that one focal event to Greek rugby and say, right, we can develop this out and this is how it cascades down?
Well, the vision was and still is to make this a world-renowned event and destination place for everybody. I mean, if you think about it, if the event goes well, and we've been investing, this is going to be the 6th year, hopefully coming into 2027. This is something that local teams can benefit. This is something that we're in development with, introducing the youth division. We'll talk about that later for 2027. And this is something that can be, besides, this is why we didn't call it a tournament, or we didn't call it games, or we didn't call it, it's a festival. So a festival has that aspect to it. It's competitive, surely. It's also fun to be there, and it's also family-based, if that makes any sense. So you're there with your family. I mean, 15 blokes coming in to have a nice weekend party. Yeah, that's still a family. The youth program, having kids develop into that. So I'm going to take it a step further and go backwards, actually. Our development through the Greek Federation has been excellent. I mean, we've had very good relationships with them. Eleni has been very helpful. The president and everybody involved of the federation have been very helpful on this. And everybody's just doing their part with a common goal, which is to promote Greek rugby and make things better. Going to somebody that really screwed us over this year, I'm going to go to his saying, MAGA, MAGA. We're going to say, make Greek rugby great again. That's the idea. So I think we all share that common goal. Yes, we might be members of a local club. Yes, we might be members of Greek community, et cetera, et cetera. The people that are going to get going further are the guys that are going to want to make Greek rugby great again in every different level, right? Ours might be that tournament. Somebody else might be their local team. Somebody else might be the national team. So everybody's trying to do their thing, but collectively it's going to be something bigger, that we should be looking at. And that's the idea and the vision of the event too. So we might be going back to the event, stating that things are getting better, et cetera. We might have had a hiccup last year, but the year before we had 21 teams and 18 of them were internationals, right? Coming in from North America, Middle East, all over Europe, et cetera, et cetera. This year, we already have a couple of teams signing up. And that's because every year you have something wrong or something not happening the way you wanted it. But at the end of the day, collectively, the outcome is going to happen. And yes, it is bringing youth into the program, bringing seniors into the program, bringing all types of groups into this festival, of which will be a benefit for Greek rugby as a whole. What can we control? Just our event. So we're going to try and do the best that we can do for our event on that scale.
Yeah, 100%. So we obviously we had the Heart of Wales Sevens organizer Jordan on, and they've been going, I think it's nearly 16 years. I think he said and obviously they had the COVID situation in the middle of their, and they've naturally grown and progressively grown each year and added bits organically rather than overstretching themselves and just trying to chuck money at a situation. They've 16 years for an event that's grown bigger and bigger. They've added netball, they've added football, they've added hockey, they've added all these other bits and created that festival situation, like you've said. Those events are able to sort of gather pace, and his one crucial takeaway from what he was saying was retention, was keeping the teams coming back. And that's what you managed to find this year, was your core group of clubs and teams that attended was still that retention, and keeping that retention high is how you're able to grow it organically. When obviously the world shut down, effectively you kind of had your COVID situation this time with the whole travel situation going into the Middle East and everyone not wanting to travel.
Carl, it was crazy. Yeah. We got, all these contacts. Yes, let's go, let's do it. We've been on this from last year, September. We're excited. We even got a couple of bookings early. We're like, wow, 2026 is going to be, yes, granted, the last time in Kenya, but it's going to be huge again. We got this vibe, and then suddenly Trump decides to do what he's going to do. And we're like, buddy, no, it's not cool, man. Don't do that. we got in touch with Mike Mulroy from Sevens referee, who's awesome. We're like in love with this guy. And he's like, guys, you don't understand what's going on in the world. Teams are canceling left and right. And we're like, yeah, don't worry. Greece is going to be fine. Nobody's bombing Greece. You know, everybody's in love with Greece. They all want to come to Greece. You know, they don't want to ruin what we have, the islands, you know. So we're thinking, no worries. And then suddenly cancellation, delays, cancellation. We'll let you know, blah, blah, and this and that. And we're like, oh my God. Carl, help. Mike, help. David, everybody, let's get on this, you know. And at the end of the day, if we are losing 40% of the teams and we only have just starting other events, the Milano Sevens, for example, that Mike told us, or other Algarve events, etc., that lost an equivalent, because they have a bigger pool of teams that have been going on. We're only on the fifth year, so we're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen, you know? And then so that was a tough year. Like 26 was we pulled it off. 4 men's teams, 4 women's. A lot of local help. The Cretan Gunners, fantastic club to work with. We had a lot of work with the Youth of Dope, which is the local production team, and co-organizer from. It was a mix of co-organizing with Youth of Dope and Cretan Gunners, and Dimitris Katsafrakis, who's actually an ex teammate of mine from the national team in the past. So we have a really cool setup there, you know. So, but yeah, we all had to, excuse my French, but haul ass to keep pushing. You know, is get on it. You know, try and get some help.
Massive doff of the cap to you guys just to get the event on, because there's a lot of events that have been pulled this year as well. It's not like it's not just you guys. It's a lot of events have just had to be pulled because people cancelled flights, and there was the costs that was just right. Like a lot of sevens, as we know within rugby, a lot of tours are last minute decisions. People get pissed in a pub on a Friday night after a game, or a Saturday night, or they one big idea. Oh, let's go and do this. Nobody was in that situation this year because the costs are rising. Nobody knew who was going to get bombed, and I was speaking to people, as you know, and they were like, we don't know what's going on. Like we can't book nothing. And it is sometimes. And at what point did you sit back and say, right, we've got to do what we got to do, but 2027 is now going to be the year?
David, I would say about 2 months prior to the event, I think we kind of clarified.
Yeah. We had
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so one of the teams that came, who won in the end, who are the Gummy Bears in Italian, and hopefully I don't butcher their name, but Orsetti Gumasai, they came, but they sent us a very nice message saying, look, if we can't come, can we have refund because of the situation happening in the Middle East? And both when I was contacting George at this period, we realized, okay, we've got to make this smaller, we've got to finish it, we've got to make it the best we can do with as little as possible, but let's focus on for next year. And that's as soon as we went to talk to Mike Mulroy, who, as George said, fantastic guy, lovely chap, absolutely a wealth of knowledge, but he could be a classicist, let's put it this way, the amount of he can talk.
So on our event, Mike, David, and I, the three of us, decided last year that we need refs to ref and focus on that, because an event, you know, besides the timetable, besides the quality of the field, besides the setup, besides, you're actually playing a game. So you need to find pros that are going to do that. So last year we had 6 or 7 referees, pretty good level, you know, very happy. One guy I have to give a shout out to is Obed. He's one of the guys we met. So I'll tell you a story about the event in a bit, how we started, a quick story about Ebra and how it progressed and meeting these guys, et cetera, et cetera. So all I just wanted to say with what David's saying is that we met Mike because he runs the sevens referee team, and they come to your event and you hire them to be part of your committee. And they did a fantastic job, all 4 of them that came in. Plus we had Obed, so that was 5. It was just fantastic. Anyways, David, sorry.
And this is 7 referees, so they do international refereeing all over the world. You know, he was working at Safari Sevens. He's now working at East. He does various. There's the logo there, and a wealth of knowledge, been fantastic help for us and actually tournament planning, because every year we learn something new, and we're open-minded enough to have that flexibility to listen to new ideas, and he's been a wealth of knowledge. The referees that they brought this year were amazing, professional, but kept it friendly. And what more can you ask from a team of refereeing? Because as George said, you can have all the teams in the world, but if your referee's rubbish and he's not consistent, that makes the game not worthwhile. I'm sure you had the same back in, unfortunately, the low levels in English rugby. If you have a bad referee, it's not a fun game to have. And the feedback we got from everyone was the referees were pretty good. They kept the game flowing. It was enjoyable. And what more can you ask for? Seeing everyone's smiling faces from this year's, even though it was a small tournament, everyone was really happy. Everyone was enjoying it. And, three of the international teams that came said they want to come back next year. They want to come back bigger, better. They want to invite other teams. They said, this is a fantastic opportunity. We love it. Can we come and do more? And I said, yeah, of course. That's what we're here for. To see you guys smiling at the end of the day, it makes all the stress, all the anxiety of the tournament go out the window.
Let me just add here, Carl, sorry to interrupt, but our business is sports tourism.
Yeah.
So that means that our business is different sports and how can we develop those sports? So we collaborate usually with other people that do sports. Rugby under our business is the first and only sport that we will be running as an event. So we'll usually go to a George and a David and a Mike to work with them so they can develop their own event on a particular sport like CrossFit, weightlifting, running, rowing, golfing. We do all these sports, but this is the only direction that we have because out of the love of the sport, and we really want to make this happen.
Obviously, that's why we're all here. We love the game, and it does suck you in to make sure that you try and spread the message with so many people. But from the learnings of this year's tournament, the successes of the previous ones as well. So 2027, is there any little bits that we want to drop now to make sure people get a time period or a destination in their diaries?
I like the way you think, Carl. We do not have a set date. We have a destination. It's going to be in Athens. It's going to be an all-inclusive option. There's going to be a 2-part event, Rugby Sevens and Beach Rugby again. So we're going to be unique on that note. And there's going to be a huge party with a local DJ on the evening, on the closing night. So we're going to invest a lot around of the thing. Now, date-wise, I feel that beginning of June is going to be a good proposition for us to pitch. And as speaking with Mike for several collaborations that we might have, and already have some teams, like we have a team from Texas, we have a team from Ohio, and then we have the Irish academies or Irish Rugby Academy that are interested. And then we just got a contact from Wales. So 2027 is already starting to cook.
Yeah.
We're going to have to meet with a federation in Greece and clarify the dates, to make sure that we're in line with them. And we're both working together as to make this happen because they've been super supportive on every level. So we cannot announce a date, but we could definitely announce early summer after beginning of June-ish, and Athens. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was, as I said, time period is going to be early summer, and what a place and what an event to get to as well. I've already got multiple teams ready for once we get that sort of save the date ready. It's going to be massive. So we're looking at adding sort of more international teams. You said about the youth setup coming through as well. What's the plan with that as well? Because that must be a real hard balance to find a week. So when I spoke to the Heart of Wales Sevens lads, like they get the kids there for free during the day, not for like players, but like for a family event feel. But then after 9 o'clock, get your kids out of the way because it's a Sevens festival, and that's when the fun for the adults begins, shall we say?
Carl, I'll be honest with you, that's the dilemma.
Yeah.
Is that where do you situate the youth and where do you situate the party?
Yeah.
So do you have a party for the? So that's the logistics part and the operational that we're gonna have to find, and it all depends on the location that this is gonna happen. Yeah. Can you have an independent area where you do each? But the whole idea with youth is just to get 4 or 5 teams to start off. The thing we like about youth is that there's a bigger umbrella of people that are involved. For example, you have kids. I have a 2-year-old, so he can't really play rugby yet, maybe in a couple of months. But your kids, for example, you would come as a family, and besides the fact that you are 4 people instead of 2 coming to the event, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just your kids, which if they were 18, it's just the 2 of them. Suddenly it's 4 people, which is great. But then you get a different approach to the whole event. You know, you get a different feeling of, oh wow, there's more families involved, there's more people. That's what we want to invest more into that. Of course, we want to also introduce the whole big party, make it happen for the older boys and girls, and make sure that they have a good time. So yeah, we're trying to make sure that it's fair, but also safe for both sides. You know, we don't want any hiccups on that end.
They do the invitational game on the Friday night with Shane Williams and stuff like. They do a charity game, 15 aside. Shane Williams then, like, I've been invited to play in that again this year. Get to play against Shane Williams, Andy Powell, James Hook, all of these like international Lions superstars and stuff. And yeah, there's that bit, and then the kids are there from. They do that. They come and watch that. Then the after party, the kids are out of the way, but they get the autographs for all the players, and there's like you're walking around, and then they're the memories that kids will remember of the game that we all love, and that's the perfect feed a bit. But if you can also get that niche point of getting game time for them as well, and then people watching and just sort of putting them on that platform, and then what an event as well, and what a place to do it in Athens as well with such a growing love of the game. It's been bubbling underneath, and it's getting bigger and bigger. I'm just buzzing to be involved with it as well, and hopefully we can agree that I'm going to be still part of this process and this journey for 2027 and onwards, because I can't wait to be part of it. I was gutted I couldn't get there this year.
Maybe it was better that you weren't there this year, because you might not gotten the taste. So the universe kind of works its way to make it happen so that everybody at the end of the day is happy, right? Yes, it was disappointing for us. Yes, David and I were like, what are we doing? You know, like, we got to figure it out. But at the end of the day, Carl didn't make it. Mike didn't make it. This guy didn't make it. The other guy didn't make it. Nicola Matawalu from Wales didn't make it. All for the same reason. Everybody had something. And at the end of the day, maybe that's to make 27 even bigger. You know, again, you're part of it. The only reason you would be part of it is because of your character and what you've shown without knowing each other. Like, me and you, we've talked, 5 times, 4 times, once on the phone. And now it's the second time. I didn't even know really what you look like. Yeah, you look like a Viking, but yeah, you look like this big rugby player and this forward, you know, and yes, your wedding anniversary might have been on the same day. So that's coincidence, which is unreal, you know, like all this, and in Kenya. So the universe definitely plays a huge role onto the how positive we want to be. And the more you do things that you love, the more people like Carl, and I'll be honest, like David for sure, and like everybody else, and my business partner, Mike, and everything else, it all ties in, you know, kind of like same passion. So yeah, Carl, if you would have us,
100%.
We'd like to have you.
100%, and there's a massive opportunity for this event to get bigger and bigger, especially with Greek rugby growing how it is. And obviously we've got within the channel, we do a lot for grassroots rugby, a lot within Rugby Europe, a lot within other nations in the tier 3 to tier 2. From a Greek point of view as well, from when I spoke to Eleni, there's rugby's probably about the 5th sport, like most other nations in Europe, so maybe even lower potentially as well, because that one moment that puts it into the spotlight, that I think we're all waiting for that one moment, and all of these little moments sort of slowly bring it back together. Rugby Europe obviously re-entering into the sevens, and now obviously the success that they had the other weekend of being able to get to the first events, going to that. Does that add a little bit more, not to say that the event isn't legitimate, but does it add a little bit more of legitimacy that some of these nations are putting teams together that are then growing and attracting other teams to come and say, right, actually, this is how it's set up. This is how we're moving forward. This is one nation that is going to be, because the likes of Gibraltar have obviously managed to get events against Sweden. Greece have obviously managed to get Albania. Obviously, we've got other events going on, planned, scheduled, going up. They're getting into the sevens tournaments. that validity then allows you guys to use that to your strength to grow this event even further. Once that 15s model, the 7s is obviously is an easy target to grow. But do you think there's a potential appetite at some point for a 15s tournament to be developed, or do you add something like a 10s, or do you? I'm talking longer term here, but there's got to be another way of us bridging the gap rather than people just making events of it's a festival for 7s because it's a shorter format because it's got more chance of people getting pissed up in between. But there's got to be a wider model for a 15s because that is technically the flagship product of rugby, correct?
Yeah, so not to jump on George, though, we also run rugby tours. So we had actually the year before when I joined up, we had 2 tours. We had a tour from a London-based club that came, and then we have veterans tournaments coming as well that we help organise with our local club. This year we had Deloitte's came for a mixture of 7s, 10s, and then just running around. So we do facilitate these rugby tours, and that's the idea. Is tournament-wise, would be fantastic if we could hold our own little Rugby World Cup here in Greece. Would be amazing. 4 weeks having clubs over. That would be fantastic. Very, very, very long term away.
If anyone ever has watched the podcast from the first ever episode, that is one of the first things I ever said is I would love to create a grassroots Rugby World Cup. And I'm still hanging my hat on finding a way of making that happen in some format for the 15s model. Because, we don't need the massive stadiums. You just need teams. We could put it as a tour. You can put it as a week. We don't have to be 4 weeks. People don't have to move out and leave. But if we could find a way of finding that format for grassroots clubs to go and do.
How many teams? How many games? And how long would the 15s games play? I'm hearing what you're saying, and I agree. But how long would this tour be for?
I reckon it could be
3 weeks.
I reckon it could be. No, I reckon it could be condensed into a week. Like if you scheduled it correctly, if you had two or four pitches available, it'd have to be a proper complex. But I think there's traction in it.
Like play on a Saturday, play on a Wednesday, and play Saturday on the final, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. You could stagger it out. We don't have to have 48 teams to start with, like the World Cup, but we could. I think there's got to be a way. Imagine that one flagship bit. The 7s is brilliant. I love 7s for what 7s is, but my love is the 15s. And if we can find a format to replicate that and get that on the map, I think that's the bridge. I think that's the bridge. If we can stream it, platform it, get the right, I'm still hanging my hat on it. I'm not fucking giving up on it. There's got to be traction in it somehow.
It is possible. And thinking through the math and the numbers, I think if you had an 18 tournament, you could do it all in a week with the top 2 going to the semi-final, or the top teams of that group going straight into a final. You could start, let's say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the last game Sunday. So you could theoretically do it.
4 15s games in a week.
Yeah.
3 is, I think, like pushing it.
Possibly.
So a 10-day, let's say 10 days.
Yeah.
10 days to make it fair, injuries and all that. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. I mean, you could always tie that around an event also, right?
Exactly.
That could be the pinnacle of the event, and the parties on Saturday when the 7s finishes and the beach rugby finishes. And then week prior to this, or 10 days prior to this, you could have that. Carl, we're all about these awesome ideas that you have. As a forward, I'm very well impressed. Wow, you're exceptional.
I can read and write is probably the amazing bit.
Like full sentences and everything?
Yeah, rather than shouting and pointing and stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
I sometimes use a full stop as well, but...
I'll tell you a story. You said something about Andy Powell earlier.
Yeah.
So I used to play for the national team, right? And our peak was coming in 4th in Europe. But back then, It was just one group. Like everybody was playing everybody. So little old Greece was playing against Russia, Ukraine, Spain, Italy, all these nations, right? And they were just like, first year pummeled, second year blah blah. At some point, we got good, right? We got We got really good and competitive. So we came in fourth, right? So prior to that year, we're in Georgia, and Wales is there. And we're kind of like, all right, cool. Everybody, we're like normal sized, right? We might have been a lot more muscular than we are now, but nothing compared to these guys on other teams. And suddenly Wales shows up, and we're like, who is that guy? This monster of a man walks by me, and I'm like, dude, who is this guy? Like, why is he even on the field? His shoulders were like coming out of his like neck. I never seen anybody, and I'm like, yeah, it's just a typical, because when we played against Ukraine, for example, they were like 185, all of them, about 100 kilos each one of them, but they weren't technical. They were just powerhouses. So we had that, and then this guy comes in, and at the time I grabbed this guy from Georgia actually, and I go, I forget his name. I go, dude, who's that guy? And he goes, that's Andy Powell. He's on suspension from the Wales team for driving a golf cart on this event that they went, and he got really drunk, and they punished him, and now he's gonna have to play sevens. I was like, oh my god, please let's not play against him. That's just my only. I don't want to play. This guy's. So watching him play sevens was the funniest thing because he's like gigantic as a person. You've seen him probably,
Yeah.
and you could confirm on what I'm saying. And he's grabbing the ball with one hand. And it looks like a real tennis ball, right? And he's just going like this and just kind of like launching it left and right while people are trying to tackle him. And this is like top level, right? So this is completely. I was like, oh my god! Thank God, Ingrid, you do your cross. Thank God we didn't play against him.
Yeah, he's still got it as well when he was running around, and they're the ones as well that you make names and you get those guests to events and people like Jordan from the Heart of Wales Sevens. He said I think it was about maybe year 7 or something like that of their events that they managed to get the first celebrities or like local like legends effectively, and he said the amount of messages he gets from parents or from kids that have said, oh, I managed to get my shirt signed by Shane Williams, or I managed to get this done and stuff like that. He said that also added legitimacy to the youth level coming through as well, because that's the hard balance of just it being big, just them being there because of the parents, or them there being able to meet sort of legends and stuff like that. And Greece has obviously got its own group of legends. Obviously, I managed to call out Adonis when I managed to find his photograph in the first ever post I did about Greek rugby, and Lenny said their messages that she got after I called him Adonis. I can't remember his name, and I'll probably badly butcher his name as it is because I know even.
Who's this?
He was a prop. Black long hair. Dave probably saw the first ever picture. It was from like 2012. There was a random photograph I found of Rugby Union Greece before it went into the sort of the dark ages for a little bit. Then it sort of got put in a back burner. But there was this geezer with long black hair, a big black beard, proper prop. But yeah, Greek rugby has got its own legends within its game and stuff like that. And do they still have much of an impact being able to get to these events and stuff? Is that something that would help support Greek rugby within? Because we've spoke about this, Dave, as well, is having Greek rugby put on the map with a Greek content creator, somebody that sort of, obviously I love flying the flag for it and help trying to grow it. But does somebody on the ground being able to speak Greek, do you think that that's a way of turning what is a light interest into something that's able to be more accessible to the public?
So I've been playing rugby in Greece since 2004. Back then there was no federation. 2005 was the beginning of the federation. 2005 we went to Austria. We lost to Austria. It was the first ever national team. Since then it was just building and building and building. 2012, I think, whatever it was, there was a big, let's call it misunderstanding, to be honest. In general, in Greece, what has happened is there's a lot of love for the sport. There's a lack of proper leadership at every level. There's a lack of leadership going forward. What's the direction? And that doesn't bring the unity that's required for long-term progress, right? So yeah, we might be progressing together, but there's just little bits and pieces of a broken puzzle, and a 10-year break from a relationship that you're trying to get back together with.
Yeah.
So, Carl 10 years ago wasn't the Carl that he is today, right? So if I knew Carl 10 years ago, knowing him today might be a complete different person. Yes, the core might be there, but he's improved. He's become better. And in Greece, a lot of people just dropped rugby for 10 years, or a lot of people were fully on rugby 2011, 12, and then suddenly just dropped, right? So you got this like 10-year gap of some people that were still trying to make it happen, but under something official and under something at the amateur level. What's your first goal? To have a championship? And your second goal is to have a national team, right? So in 10 years' time, you're losing players from that, and you're losing the connection of rugby. In addition, there's a very small number. Let's say there's 350, 400 people in total involved with rugby in Greece. In a country of 5 million, 10 million, or a little less. It's a very small number, right? And these 500 people are like maybe 400, maybe 300, let's say. Amongst them, they dispersed for a long period of time. So getting back into this might take some time. Yes, it's helpful that the national team is around. Yes, it's helpful that the championship is happening. Yes, it's helpful that we have this event. Yes, it's helpful that we go to different events around Europe, different local clubs. So we're spreading the word. I feel that there needs to be more of a unified action towards how big everybody's efforts are to make this happen. We need to support each other more at the level where the brotherhood is united completely. Every team, every event, everything in general is just something that I feel is getting there, and I feel will get there, but it's just going to take some time to clarify. Every club has its problems. So that means that every other club with each other is going to have their problems, which means that the federation might have their problems. So it trickles down, but it's kind of like the way I see it, because I'm not so involved with the playing side of it. I see it as a puzzle slowly coming in together, like you mentioned. And this puzzle is coming in different areas and from different directions, but the main goal is there, right? So I think, definitely we're going to get there. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of traction. There's a lot of discussion about rugby. Of course, like you mentioned before, does it help our event that the national team is present? Yeah, of course. Does that reflect the level of rugby in Greece? I don't know. It's the beginning. Because, like I said before, 2005, we went to Austria. We lost for 30, 40 points. I don't even remember. Which not today, but after a couple of years, if we played Austria again, we would have beat them by 40, 50 points. So is that a reflection of being present, or is that a reflection of the quality of rugby in Greece? It's a reflection of being present for now, and we're building on that. That's what Eleni, Giannis, the president, and all these people are doing to help, is just start being present and slowly progress into the competitive side of it. You can't win your first game. I mean, if you did, wow, that's fantastic. It's lucky too. I was in Azerbaijan for the national team, and that's when we played 15s to come up to, I think, conference. I don't even think there was conferences there. My mind's a little blurry. I might have been a forward in the past, so my mind's a little, screwed up. So we're in Azerbaijan, and this guy comes, old guy, and he's like, I used to play for the English national team. I forget his name. I even have his autograph somewhere. And I said, wow, that's amazing. And he came to our conversation because he heard that we're complaining that we were in Azerbaijan playing rugby in the living conditions that we had at the time, and blah, blah. And he goes, what year is it? And I go, I don't know, 2010, 2009, I don't even remember, 8, 7, 6. And he goes, do you know 15 years ago, we drove with a bus for the Six Nations from London to Italy to play one fucking game and then drive back on a bus, and this is the national team of England. And this was 15 years ago from the date that we were in Azerbaijan. And it comes to show you that, guys, it's a type of sport that's so basic and so simple. Just do your job. Just stop complaining. Just show up. Just play your rugby. Just let the players be players. Let the coaches be coaches. Let the event managers be event managers. Let Carl do his job. Let everybody just do their job and just focus on this one goal. Get rugby moving, And on a side note, because you said something about celebrities and whatnot, we're really lucky. So I got to give a shout out to Rania Kuchiku. She's the coach of the Cretan Gunners, and she has been in rugby, and she was in Wales studying, et cetera, et cetera. And now she's the coach, and with my friend Dimitri Katsafrakis, who have the Gunners, et cetera. She gave us the contact of Nicola Matawalu, who was studying in her university. Nicola has the same, he's a Fijian, you know who he is.
He's been on the pod.
Olympic,
been on the pod.
He was on the podcast. Yeah, correct. So we got you in contact with him, and just
Top bloke.
meeting you, it was amazing. So you're like, if you're talking about celebrity that's down to earth, it's this guy. He's just like, George, what do you need? This, and that. He got us the butchers coming in the first year, right? And the butchers are a pro team.
Yeah.
He got it done. He's like, guys, I'll get you the butcher. They came. It might cost a little more for them to be here, and we all had to find a way to make it happen, but they were here, right? So a celebrity, yes, is a celebrity, but in rugby, a celebrity is different because he brings in a value of to what your cause is.
Exactly that.
He's not looking at, I'm Nikolai and I'm going to showcase my stuff. He even played beach rugby against some of the teams. You know, think about it. You're like a pro, still a pro player playing beach rugby in our event in Greece with nothing to win. Literally, no gains, nothing, just for the love of the game, you know? So, yeah, we're really lucky with that. And we also had last year, what was his name, David?
We brought in Canon Bullatoad, who was the GB7's captain. He's now come back from injury and did a fantastic job in Bordeaux. We also had Enna Amory, who is a Belgium 7s and 15s player and now currently playing with the finalists of this year's PWR, Trailfinders, and both of them brought in people last year. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have had Robert Gordon University, we wouldn't have female internationals coming over, and actually we wouldn't have had 2 female Argonauts teams just from individuals signing up, and most of them came because they knew Ella and what she'd done. And having those kind of partnerships, the celebrities do answer those doors. They bring in people just because of that name. And we had a fantastic partnership. It's a shame they couldn't come this year due to, as George said, all the other problems that happened this year. But we're working forward to do stuff with them to then bring them back out, looking into doing training camps with them, week-long experiences where people can learn how to play 7s or 15s game from these 2 current professionals playing at the game. And this opens a lot of these wider doors to then develop not only in Greece, but the Balkan region as a whole, because it would be open up to all the Balkan players. You know, everyone around Greece plays rugby now. You know, they had their first women's international was against Bulgaria, played them twice, won 1, lost 1. They played Albania and they played Kosovo. And it's that, as George says, is being present, but now you're being present, let's slowly develop there. What can we do is we can try and bring in these people to try and help out, ease the burden on the federation so they can handle on the day-to-day stuff while we can handle other bits, and working together for that common goal as the greater good of Greek rugby, let's say.
But that's the problem. Everyone says, everyone's got an opinion. It's those people that action those opinions and try and help support the cause. Everyone, rugby's got that major issue with everyone's a Sappuccino. Everyone loves to have a whinge and a moan, but until it actually comes to putting your money where your mouth is or putting your actual effort where your mouth is, that's the difference between rugby celebrities and stuff like that. Because a lot of people can talk a good game, but they all want money up front rather than just let's make sure it happens. Let's make the greater good of the game and the rest of it will come together because we've all got a common goal. And that was obviously when we had our conversation, George, it was the case of let's make it happen. The rest of it will all come together because we're doing it to make sure this game grows. And rugby's at a point. It's either sink or swim. And it's not just in Greece. It's just the whole commercial element of rugby. And I think the way that we want to package it up, the way we want to try and make sure that it's accessible to everyone, because everyone talks about how the game is for everyone. The game isn't for everyone. The game's open to anyone because we will let anyone come and play it and look after you and you become part of the family. But some people just aren't built to play rugby because they don't like getting the hits. But we've adapted the game. You've got touch, you've got beach rugby, you've got all these other variations that we, as a sport, for the good or the bad, however you want to view it, we've made the game accessible to every person in some format, whether it's contact, whether it's walking rugby, whereas a lot of other sports, if you're not physically able, go find another sport. But we move heaven and hell to make sure that people can come and play the sport in whatever format. And we've now just got to bundle that into the package that is consumable for people outside of the game that we love. And these events, even if you don't want to come and play, just come and watch the event, because the rugby will be amazing. The atmosphere, you will make friends that you don't even like. You normally go on holiday, you make a friend on holiday, and then you never text them again. With rugby, you've got no choice, because they'll usually text you. Like, you can't get rid of them. They're literally rugby family is like the unflushable turd. Like, you can't get rid of them. Even if you want to get rid of them, they're still there. But when you need them, you drop a message, anything, they're there. And that's why this game and this sport and this family worldwide is so amazing.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%. On a side note, the whole you flush it and it doesn't go away. I mean, through rugby, I've made the best friendships. And I know this sounds romantic, but people ask me, what's your background? I did boxing. I played some volleyball, played some basketball, blah, blah, blah. Did you keep friendships from that group? Yeah, if I see them, because I was competitive at boxing. So if I see them, yeah, sure, why not? But that was only for a short time. But would you drop whatever you're doing to go see them and help them, et cetera, like you said perfectly? Probably not. Rugby, though, the first guy I met was in a bar for an altercation, let's call it. And I just joined. I was in the middle of it and I kind of joined. And that's how we kind of met this guy. And this guy to today is still the guy that I will call and say, hey, how are you? As if a day hasn't passed. And this is going back, 26 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that's just, I can't explain it in other ways to people that haven't played or haven't been part of it. And then I'm going to throw in something for the event. We're aiming for touch rugby to also be part of our event. So besides youth and seniors, et cetera, touch rugby will also be in some aspect part of this event. And we're going to try and focus on that also. That was just a side note of what you're saying. Yeah.
I think it's a great way of getting that buy-in from other angles. I'm not built for touch. Like, it's not physically, it's not in my forte. But there are some for some people.
You don't like to touch, or they don't like to touch you, or
both. To be fair, it's the stopping. That's the issue. Like, everyone's like, why have you not stopped instantly? I just can't. My physical ability is not to stop. I just can't stop. Like, if I've started running, that's it. Like,
diesel power. That's
it.
Once the diesel power gets going,
that's it. I can't stop.
Keep it going. Yeah.
But like, there's so many players. Like Ben John, obviously the rugby trainer, retired pro because of concussion. Loves the game, coaching kids, coaching everyone to learn from the game. But he's able to get out there and still play touch, because it doesn't then impact the risk of. But he's still playing the game that he loves. And for these more of these events, like touch rugby is a great way for people that still go to the event and like, right, I'm not feeling sevens, but I can still be part of it. I'm not getting excluded. We can still put a touch team together. Let's go and have fun. Those boys want to go play sevens. If you wake up on the morning, you fancy sevens, you can go do sevens. If not, we've got a touch team. Perfect. It covers every angle. And
that's the idea. Yeah, correct.
It's amazing. Gents, this is obviously only going to get bigger and bigger. We're going to release more information as we go. Yeah. And let's make sure this event is the one that people have got to remember, because...
So we're looking at early summer 2027. You got to book your tickets. You're invited on us, your end. We'd love to have you and your family. We're definitely going to try and do our best to make it happen. And up until then, we're going to definitely be working together. You're part of the team now, like it or not.
I'm in.
We are that turd. We are that turd that you can't flush now. Anyways, we'd love to also introduce you to Ella.
Yeah.
She's going to be really close working with us. So that'd be great for you guys to get in contact. David can share the information.
100%. And it's the same with Adam. So we had Adam who was Wolfpack, who's now part of Rugby Connect.
I know Adam as well.
He's been
Already deal with him.
fantastic with us,
Top
been
bloke.
really good pushing teams
Oh,
with
yeah.
us, and actually he was also helpful in touch ideas and how to work it. And he, again,
Yeah.
as George says, as you put, is that okay? I'm going to use a little bit more colourful language. It's the friend that you always know will always be there, and from the people that I've met playing rugby all over Europe, I'm still connected with them. I'll message them, say, look, what, you up for something? I'm here for the weekend in Bratislava or in Den Haag. Do you want to meet up? And they're like, yeah, totally. And that's the beautiful thing about rugby. It is a sport of thugs played by gentlemen who just want to do it for the love of the game. And that's the important thing, to play, enjoy, drink, eat together, and possibly wake up in a ditch together after a good night out.
Standard. It's usual. It's a usual Saturday night anyway for the good old times.
Sounds safe.
That's it. I think on that note, we're obviously going to call this episode. This has been an absolute blinder. Make sure you keep your eyes out for everything that's coming up. We're going to make sure we share everything. There's going to be more announcements to come, but get that date in your diary. Early summer 2027 in Athens is going to be a banger. These gents are going to be there. We'll keep you updated with everything. For everything else we do on Rugby TTL, make sure you follow us on YouTube, all the other, subscribe, like, all of those bits. Make sure you get over to the Aegean Festival. Make sure you follow and subscribe to all their channels so that you can keep abreast of everything that we're all going to be sharing together. But thank you for everyone for joining us. Make sure you get your tickets, and we'll see you soon.